Public comment regarding Manzanita Pines. I am Stephen Albertson, 35640 Clipper Court, Nehalem, Oregon, 97131. Point of clarification number 1. Your location is basically a flat plateau of sand that is one of the highest in Manzanita. Its elevation exceeds neighboring Pine Ridge. You refer to steep slopes and adjacent hills. Let's be clear, your property is basically flat with an 8 to 10 foot sand berm on the northeast corner. Your opening statement says it's tucked into adjacent hills. There are no hills. That may be a hill. Is that what we're calling a hill? Or is this other piece a hill? Maybe that's a hill. It's basically a flat plane of clay. Point of clarification number 1. Point of clarification number 2. Open space to the north and landscape buffer to the east separate Manzanita Pines from adjacent residential neighborhoods. This picture is a picture of my backyard. The ladder with the pole and the little red flag on top represents 37 feet. Basically, every tree in the backyard will be gone, and a building the size of that ladder with the red pole will be there. This is a view from the street. The building will be extremely visible from the street, obviously there. This is a view from my backyard looking up to 37 feet, straight up, angled up. This is the view looking east at 3:45 February 8th. It shows that solar implications will be in shadow for the majority of late afternoon, early evening. It will be a major solar energy loss. Clarification point number 3. Goal: to maintain and create residential living areas which are harmonious with the coastal environment. Please explain how these buildings are harmonious. These are examples of high residential areas that have harmonious relationship to the environment. These are current buildings in Manzanita that show an example of what it would look like for high density living with harmonious environments. If your buildings were on this street, they would tower nearly 37 feet tall and stretch half the length of that street. Not harmonious with their local coastal environment. Clarification number 4. Senate Bill 1537 was created because there was towns that had large residents and little housing. This new state law was created because there was a housing shortage. Manzanita does not have a housing shortage. It has chosen to shift to short-term priority because it's been more profitable for the city and home. Senate Bill 1537 should not be applied to our town because we already have way more houses than we do residents. This law is being taken out of context and applied to us to create a higher profitability. Clarification point number 5. Why are you not utilizing the northeast corner of your lot? You're remaining that spot for zoned nature space that you plan to not do anything with it. It's super thick. No kids are going to be able to play back there. It's just overgrown forest, and it's flat. It's unaffected by the surrounding neighborhoods. It would be much more ideal to put a large building back in that corner that's not going to get seen by any neighborhoods, and they have their own quiet privacy. It's the perfect spot to put it, and you're not doing it. That's a real big question. Clarification point number 6. Vehicle parking. 2 spaces for each dwelling unit, yet you want to reduce it to 1.6 dwelling per unit for this planned development. I'd say get to know your community. You're in Tillamook County. Everybody drives. Your average dwelling is probably going to have 3 to 4 vehicles that are going to look something like this. We drive trucks in this neighborhood. That has 40 parking spots right there. Our biggest parking lot in Manzanita is the Fresh Foods parking lot. Has 40. You want to take that parking lot and times it by 2.5. That would mitigate 90 spaces, which is still totally inadequate. We are a community that drives. Our public transportation infrastructure in this community is very minimal. Our biking lanes are extremely minimal. We drive. You need to support how our community works. We drive. Point of clarification number 7. The city has failed to provide proper public comment discourse, the mandatory part of this monumental decision process for both Manzanita and its surrounding community. Emails are not returned, phone messages are not returned, and there's information on their opening page that says the meeting is scheduled for June 20th, 2022. On all public documents, it says for further information, please contact our city manager, L. Amon, at 503-368-5343. There's no email, just a phone number to get more information. Myself and many other people have called this number, and this number rings and rings and rings. Apparently, Ms. Amon does not know where this phone is because no one has ever answered this phone, and there is not a message saying anything. It just rings forever. Makes it clear that if you want to be, participate, persons interested in the proposal should become involved in the land use decision-making process. Anyone desiring to speak for or against the proposal may do so in person. So for the last several weeks, I've been trying to figure out where I could go in person to talk. I've called. There is not any place that tells us where this meeting is going to be held. It is some private meeting somewhere. I don't know. It says I can come, but nowhere does it say where this meeting is going to be held. Finally, you try to go down to Manzanita City Hall and talk to someone in person to figure out what's going on. And this is what you get. Nobody home. Why they're not there, we don't know. But it's closed.